Hey everyone, it's another Whiskey Quickie, and today we're doing something a little bit different. We are going to actually try the whiskey before we get to the whiskey.
That's right.
Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Maybe not.
The whiskey was finished in this whiskey first, so we're going to try the whiskey was finished in first, and then go to the whiskey finished in the whiskey.
Yeah. So if you caught that math, we're actually going to be doing Bardstown Bourbon Company's Amrut Collaborative Series. And so this brings together a tradition of Indian single malt with the robust palates of, Kentucky bourbon. So there's actually going to be 2 straight rye whiskeys that were aged in Amrut Indian single malt barrels for 18 months. But before we get into that, we'll talk about the blend. Let's go ahead. Let's cheers. This is actually my first taste ever of Indian single malt.
I've had some at this popular Indian restaurant in Louisville, Tiki House. It's awesome. But I had Paul John. Wasn't the biggest fan, but maybe Amrut will be a difference.
That's what this is. So
yeah.
Just real quick, I mean, you can look at it. It's very hay straw color, but
it smells malty.
It sure is.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. On with the taste, because the nose I'm not a fan of.
Yeah. Reminds me too much of Scotch.
Yeah,
I'm sorry.
Pass.
And Danny's my boy, Dan Calloway at Bardstown. And when he told me about this project, I was like, I don't know if that's a good idea. But we'll see if,
see if it actually holds up to itself.
Yeah, so
I don't know.
What's in the blend here?
I'll talk about the blend. But by the way, just to let you, I know we were just scoffed at it real quick, but tasting notes, other things, I mean, for me, that single malty, it's just kind of bitter. I don't know.
Yeah, it's earthy, kind of soil, taste, grass. It's a Scotch profile.
It's the
for
very
me.
opposite of sweet corn bourbon.
That's right.
That's exactly what it is. So now let's get into the BBC collaboration here. And so this is 2 straight rye whiskey. Here is the blend. So it's 43% Indiana 9-year, which is a 45% corn, 51% rye, 4% malted barley. And that was also aged for 18 months in Amrut Indian single malt barrels. It is 20% of an 8-year Indiana rye, which is a 95.5, which is also aged in 18 months. Then that is actually all blended with a 17% Kentucky 14-year, 75% corn, 13% rye, 12% malted barley, 15% 10-year Kentucky bourbon, 78-10-12, and a 5% 11-year Kentucky bourbon, which is a 78-13-9. So it is a blend of 5 different types of whiskeys, 3 bourbons, 2 ryes that were finished in the Indian single malts. This is presented at 110 proof and has a retail price of $160.
I'm curious if it was all blended together, then finished in the barrels, or they were blended individually.
So
they were blended individually.
You had the 51% rye and the 95.5 rye that were all aged in the Amrut barrels.
Gotcha.
And then they blended that with the 3 Kentucky bourbons.
Sorry, I should listen better.
It's okay. I'm here for you. But now let's go ahead and let's dive into it. On with the nose. And come to think about it, we didn't really wash these glasses out, so even our glasses are finished.
That's right.
In Amrut.
Yeah, a lot of Amrut.
All right. I mean, you revived yourself a little bit there, right? You had sweet corn action.
Yeah, there's a lot of bright, fruity sweetness. There's a little almost like earthy soil kind of notes.
I kind of get more of a lighter tannin on the nose here, but
there's this nice citrus note that you get from it. A lot of orange lemony kind of vibes, but this nice soily, earthy, kind of not in a bad way. Like the Amrut was earthy, dirty. This is a nice soily. I don't know.
Earthy, dirty. That's exactly what my next T-shirt's going to be.
Earthy, dirty.
On with the taste here. Interesting.
Yeah, and this is very interesting.
So it is a boo rye at the end of the day. Let's keep that in mind.
Yeah, so I'm not surprised you get that, as with the nose, you get that lemony, citrus, a little piney, orange flavors that probably coming from the rye whiskey, but you get this nice sweet oak flavor throughout the entire pour. And then I don't know, it's so interesting. I can't I'm trying to put my thumb on everything and I can't. And there's just a lot going on.
If I had to say I could even sense a little bit of Amrut in here, I'd lie to you because I don't.
Yeah. And they're going back to the second sip, there's a little bit of chocolatey, strawberry kind of notes in it that are nice. It's viscous. I mean, it's one of the more interesting pours I've had in a long time.
Yeah, like I said, it is interesting. But you got a bull rye and then some rye finished in some Indian single malt. So innovation at its finest.
Yeah.
Well, let's go ahead and let's rate it. So on with the nose. How you feeling?
Thumbs up. I liked it.
And the taste.
Thumbs up. I really liked it. It's so interesting. There's some familiar notes you get with rye and bourbon, but there's so many interesting flavors on it. I want to keep going back and discovering more and more on it.
Do you want to discover one more time before you give your final taste here?
Yeah, that's good.
All right, there we go. And then how are you going to rate the finish?
Thumbs up. I really like it. I mean, there's all these like layers of flavor that just it's like a gobstopper. They just keep unfolding. It's really an interesting pour.
I know a lot of people will love this one. We had the opportunity actually to do both the Amrut and the actual blended whiskey, so
the blend's way better.
I agree.
Danny, you're not dumb.
Love it. All right, well, that is our review of BBC's and Bardstown Bourbon Company's collaboration with Amrut. With that, cheers, everybody. We'll see you next time.
Toodles.